What's up guys, Houndish here with some Destiny 2 updates, and we've just had a new hotfix in the game today to address a couple of important issues, so we'll touch on that, as well as some other updates from Bungie and community managers about Bright Dust in Season 14, and then we'll talk about some clarification regarding future changes to reputation systems. But we're also going to talk future content, some stuff to look forward to as well as leaks, which have been all over the place when it comes to Destiny, and of course they may or may not be true, but we're going to touch on them in the video. So guys, as always, I hope you enjoy this one, but without further delay, let's get into it. And starting out with a hotfix that we've had for Destiny 2 just now, this is hotfix 3.2.1.2. And for Gambit, they fixed an issue where the Ludomaniacal emblem didn't unlock for players who reset their Gambit infamy rank 3 times, and players affected by the bug will be retroactively rewarded. So that's a good one, but also, they fixed a problem where the following Dreaming City weapons weren't dropping if players had previously obtained them, and that's the Bide the Return, Tiger's Bite, and Twilight Oath. So if you're after any of those weapons, you can now dive into the Dreaming City, with chances of getting them with random rolls. And then also for triumphs, they fixed a problem where the One Fell Strike triumph was marked as incomplete for all players. And this fix will grant the triumph to players, but they point out that it's triggered by a weekly reset. So players will only see this fix on the following Tuesday, that'll be next week's reset. And if you should have been awarded it, it should automatically grant when you sign in on Tuesday. And then for Solstice of Heroes, they fixed an issue where the Solstice Stasis Empowerment buff was granting weapon ammo on stasis kills. And so not an absolutely huge update, but a couple of potentially important updates right there, depending on what content you're playing. And it'll be good to finally be able to go after all of those Dreaming City weapons as intended. Now though, a few updates and bits of clarification from Bungie, and players on Reddit pointed out that seasonal challenges don't grant 10k Bright Dust as originally announced. And so DMG responded and said we have an update from the team. Firstly, seasonal challenge Bright Dust rewards should be expected to vary somewhat from season to season, depending on activities and challenges leveraged. But they go on to say that due to our lack of communication, once season 14 is over, we'll issue a make good to players who finish the season 14 meta challenge to make up for the 525 Bright Dust discrepancy that we didn't disclose. And in the future, we'll outline the seasonal challenge Bright Dust rewards in the patch notes at the start of the season. And so essentially the potential earnable Bright Dust this season is a little bit lower than what Bungie had promised. And so if you complete all of the challenges actually associated with unlocking that Bright Dust, they've said they will add it to players' inventories at the end of the season. And moving forward, they'll be a little clearer on exactly what we can expect to earn. That's good, give us your thoughts about it down below. Of course, a few days back though, in TWAB, Bungie announced that Grandmasters are getting a catch-up node next season, and this will show up if you have the Conqueror title, but haven't yet gilded it in the season. And DMG clarified that once you play a Grandmaster strike, it's removed from the catch-up node, and once all strikes have been completed, the node is no longer available. So as an example, once you complete the Lake of Shadows GM difficulty, it's removed from the list and can't be indefinitely farmed for 5-minute GM completions. But people did say, if it's the weekly Grandmaster, can it still be selected regardless of if we're gilded? And DMG said, yep, if you're eager for that farm, have at it when it's featured. So regardless of the catch-up node and Conqueror title status, we are going to be able to farm the featured Grandmaster as much as we like on a weekly basis. Of course, they also announced activity streaks, which are going to be better for solo players who want to earn Crucible or Gambit rep, where losing matches won't matter as much, as you'll be able to keep the actual activity streak. But Paul Tassi added some good questions following the TWAB the other day, and he said, does Battlegrounds being a Vanguard rank imply that they're staying past one more season? And DMG responded that Battlegrounds will be available throughout Season 15, and the team wanted to ensure they provided Vanguard rep as they fit that feel. He also asked any chance on making the drop rates for playlist weapons go up with activity streak bonus, and DMG responded that the team is aware of this desire and they'll continue to pass feedback along. And DMG also adds that the team do plan to hit the Iron Banner with a similar reputation system to what they've added to the other playlists, but this will be in the future and there is currently no ETA. And so right there, just a few bits of clarification about those updates we're going to be seeing in Season 15. Up next, let's touch on some supposed leaks very quickly. Could be interesting. Of course, a while back, a supposed leak turned up in the form of a text document, and there were various suggestions about future content, including that Season 15 will apparently be focused around the Dreaming City and a return of Morro. And it stirred a lot of curiosity whether it's true or not, but a few days back, supposedly, the remainder of that document was leaked. And as always, take all of this stuff with a pinch of salt. It could well be fake, but it does briefly suggest that, spoiler alert, in Season 15, Savathun will be killed at the end of the season, and she isn't going to be revealed right away, but will be revived in Witch Queen. Apparently we're also going to see a new match-made activity in Season 15 called the Shattered Realm, which is going to be similar to the Vex network. And if that's true, it could be similar to some of the Ascendant Realms we have in Dreaming City. They also suggest that we're going to see a heavy stasis trace rifle that consumes your super to use, as well as a new energy linear fusion rifle with a bounty hunter gimmick. And the second perk will provide a bonus on killing your bounty. That's an interesting concept, of course. So once again, it's stuff that we can see whether it turns out to be remotely correct. But following this, a user shared an AI re-rendered version of a very small leaked image, which according to the leak represents Savathûn, and essentially they're saying that this is a season flavor artwork for either Season 15 or 16. It definitely looks similar to some of the season concept pieces that Bungie tend to launch alongside seasons. It's pretty blurry because apparently the original image was very, very small, and it's been re-rendered to make it a bit more visible. And so if true, we could potentially be looking at a piece of artwork for Savathûn right there. But once again, we'll have to wait and see, and again, it may or may not be real. But a lot of folks are talking about it in the community, so I'll be curious to get your thoughts down in the comments section. Another spoiler alert is necessary though, right here, as we're going to touch on some of the remaining stuff for Season 14 right now, as there are a couple more bits that we're going to see in the final few weeks. And as a bit of a roundup, a lot of players have been wondering about what we're going to see, and so a spoiler alert is necessary here, but now that we've expunged Queria, the seasonal narrative has some new directions to head in. And the first, as far as we can tell, is some kind of response from the Vex to our actions in the network, where the Vex will attack the last city. And so one of the quests starts out with a couple of urgent broadcasts from the Splicer servitor and Lakshmi in the tower, and then we'll need to defend the last city from a Vex incursion, which comes in the form of an additional override mission taking place at the Elixni camp. And there are some details for this activity on Bungie's own website, but they also teased some artwork which shows a bunch of Vex in the Elixni quarter. And then following this, there's another quest called Heroes Memorial, where we'll get the opportunity to join a joint human and Elixni memorial in the tower, possibly tied to the events of the Last City invasion. Once again, all of this stuff visible via Bungie's website. And there will be a final reward linked to that memorial as well, in the form of an exotic ship, so there are some pretty key narrative beats still to come, and all of this should happen before August 24th, when Bungie will kick off Season 15, including that new content showcase which is likely to lean into Witch Queen content as well. So that does it for the content we know remains for Season 14. But final thing to mention right here, Bungie have updated the Bungie store. I believe primarily it has the same stuff for sale, but the entire store does have a bit of a new look, which is worth checking out if you're interested, and also there's a bit of a revamp to the Bungie Rewards page. And so there's a separate tab for physical Bungie store items, and then digital rewards associated with achievements in game. And so if you have to sign back in when you visit those sites, it'll be because of the update. Nonetheless, I thought it was a worthwhile mention. But for today, guys, that is what we have to round up inside of the videos. So as always, I hope this one has been useful, and if it has, a rating down below very much helps us out on the channel. Also, be sure to get subscribed so I can keep you posted on the world of D2. And if you're interested, check out my friends at Now Drinks, as they've got some really tasty and healthy drinks designed for gamers, which improve focus and memory. They've just launched their new flavour Watermelon Splash, and if you follow the link down below and use code Houndish at checkout, you can get 20% off any orders in the store until the end of the month. So if that sounds cool, the link will be down in the description box below. But otherwise, for now, I appreciate you tuning in as always, and hope you guys have an awesome day.